Welcome into Titans Today. I am Tom Downey. With the public portion of OTAs wrapped up, it is a great time to break down some of the winners and losers from organized team activities, knowing not that much is really going on and it's mostly all excitement. But first up, speaking of excitement, are you excited about the Titans' new regime led by head coach Brian Callahan? I think that's most of us. It's a fun time. So if you agree, type me in the comments section. First up on the winner's side is the wide receiver room. I think there's been a pretty good glow up here for the Titans organization. It's not just DeAndre Hopkins, and we'll see. There's multiple other talented players who are now helping out this receiving core and helping out Will Levis as well. Here's what head coach Brian Callahan said on the wide receivers during OTAs and the quarterback as well. Will's done a really nice job, and I think that having the veteran guys, if you watch, I watched Calvin and I watched our Boyd today even, because their natural inclination is to go up and talk about something. Go talk about a route. Go talk about an adjustment. Where that doesn't fall on Will to have to do to the receivers, they sort of help with their experience with him, sharing perspective, sharing a thought process on any number of things that involves the pass pattern, the route technique, etc. Those guys have a great feel and understand football as good as anybody. And so it falls less on Will to make corrections as those guys are having conversations, which I think is a huge benefit for a young quarterback to have those guys. Also, this kind of fun note from Terry McCormick, who says he saw more passes on the day at Titans practice than in a week under previous regimes. If you want to make a young quarterback better, this is how you go about doing that. You surround him with veteran playmakers. Calvin Ridley, who, by the way, looks awesome so far at OTAs. He's a legit wide receiver one now for Tennessee. You have Hopkins there. Tyler Boyd's a veteran presence. And Treylon Burks seems to be coming along pretty decently. Look, I think the presence of Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd is a big deal for Tennessee. Stabilizes the wide receiver room, gives them some more talent, gives them some more playmakers. To no surprise, Ridley looks great. The 7-on-7 drills are perfect for him. Receivers can't contest it, catch him. That's not how it works in OTAs. It's all route running, and he thrives in that area. Meanwhile, positive things coming out about Treylon Burks. Heard that multiple days of the open practice in a row. You're always looking for the steady drumbeat, right, of hey, this was said on day 1. This was said on day 3. This was said on day 5. That's consistency. That's what you want to have there. He says he's playing with a lot more confidence. His teammates are hyping him up. I hope that continues. I'm not out on Burks. There's a reason why some other fan bases have interest in getting him. He's a former first-round pick. I think that's a positive thing for him. Tying into this here is also Will Levis, the team's franchise quarterback. Pretty positive things coming out at OTAs about Levis, the accuracy, the results, the arm strength. And I think having a more stable veteran group of playmakers is a good thing for him. The flashes were there, the arm strength, the mobility, some of the big-time plays, the deep balls. The consistency wasn't, if we're being honest. That's why his percentage was under 60%. That's not going to cut it in the NFL. You can't have an almost 1-to-1 to turnover ratio. But this entire season, in a way, is all about seeing if Will Levis can be the guy. And if not, well, then maybe you got a tough decision to make next offseason. If he is great, you got a cheap young quarterback in a division full of good young quarterbacks. So do you believe in Will Levis as the franchise QB? The pinned comment on today's show, so please get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. Next up on the winners list is Josh Whyle, the tight end, who a couple of days said some positive praise for making plays among a tight end room that frankly isn't all that great. Now, out of Cincinnati last year, Wiley didn't do much. 9 catches, 94 yards, a touchdown, very small sample size from that perspective. Obviously, Brian Callahan got to see him play with the Bengals-Titans overlap there. The tight end room for Tennessee kind of goes too deep. Unless you believe one of the backups there, maybe Nick Vannett surprises people, Chigo Okonkwo, and then Josh Whyle. But some positive praise for him, lesser-known player. Wanted to give him some love. So I'm sure you guys have closely followed Titans OTAs because there's nothing else really going on right now. So name a Titans OTA winner for me in the comments section. J.C. Latham also on this list. And a big reason why is his work ethic and the praise he has drawn from multiple different members of the Titans organization. There was one point they had to pull him off the field in the rain because he was still out there working. Brian Callahan told the story of how he was mad he didn't handle the Bertha sled. You guys know what I'm talking about? The big sled that Bill Callahan uses. Didn't handle it great the first day. It's a new thing for him. Going to take time. And he's out there like hours later, and there's Jay Latham out there running sprints by himself and working on the bag, and Brian goes, there's a random, do I got to pull him off there? Is he fine? He's like, I'll allow him to go for a little bit. Those are the things you want to hear. This is a great time for young players to showcase their work ethic and showcase they can be great. Having that high energy, that high effort is a big deal for me. It's only May. Offensive linemen don't get to hit all that much. I think that sled's going to be a good usage point for Bill Callahan. Latham has now kind of mastered it. He's been coaching up other players as a rookie. That's a good thing. You can get his jersey over at chatsports.com/Latham. The link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. He is going to rock number 55. So get the jersey today, chatsports.com/Latham. If you want a Will Levis jersey or somebody else instead, go to the link and then just search for it. It's that simple. I'll give some love to one of the guys I really liked coming out of the draft a couple of years ago was Caleb Farley. He has gone through just such a brutal stretch the past couple of years with injuries, personal losses with his parents passing away. He took some reps at cornerback, and he was out there for the entire day. Had a good pass breakup against Treylon Burks, by the way, as well. Both of them are in good shape. It's a big deal for me. Tennessee clearly is not counting on Caleb Farley anymore. They can't. That's why they got L'Jarius Sneed. They got Chidobe Awuzie. They have Roger McCreary. They drafted Jarvis Brownlee. Anything you get from Caleb Farley at this point, if we're being honest, is a bonus. It's a little goodie of like, oh, sweet, we got something from that perspective. We've got something that allows us to have him in the building and get some return on our investment. I don't think the expectations are very high. That's okay. You're getting something out of Farley. And I think him just being healthy for an offseason into the regular season is a step in the right direction for him. We'll have more Titans updates for you guys all off-season long. It's tough here, I know, but we're doing my best. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/Titans today. In life, there are losers, and the easy losers from OTAs are the people who weren't there. Some notable absences I want to mention. A couple guys due to injury. T'Vondre Sweat, Nicholas Petit-Frere, probably Jalen Duncan too on the injury side, but that wasn't specifically confirmed. Kenneth Murray, he'll be fine. That's a minor injury. Unclear why Nick Westbrook-Aquino wasn't present today's practice, whether he was working alone or was sick or whatever, but he was there earlier, so nothing too major there. I want to focus on those first three names. First up is T'Vondre Sweat. Who knows what it is? And he's been out there for other workout stuff, so maybe he tweaks something, whatever. But hey, I think these young players need to be out there as much as humanly possible. It is too important of a time for them to be missing. It puts them behind the eight ball, and they know it's behind the eight ball, and they can overcompensate and kind of get a little panicky. I want him out there. It's that simple. Meanwhile, Petit-Frere, who could be your starter at right tackle, maybe is. I think that's a huge question mark right now. Is rehabbing a shoulder injury from last year. He's fighting for a right tackle starting spot. He's not out there. That sucks. I thought he showcased some good things, but he was also bad. I thought he was better in 2022, by the way. I want these guys out there with my elite offensive line coach. They're not out there. That stinks. Jalen Duncan, by the way, he was always a developmental prospect. He should not have been playing in year one, and I think the numbers reflect that. That is some of the worst production I've seen in a small sample size. But he's young, developmental piece, not out there for some reason. Latham's going to be one starter. That other spot is wide open as far as I'm concerned. But if Duncan and those guys aren't out there and Petit-Frere aren't out there, kind of falling behind a little bit. So do me a favor and be a hater, like I am apparently. Name a Titans OTA loser in the comments section. Next up is Daniel Brunskill. And there's been a couple of different reports that, it's going to be Dillon Radunz, it's going to be Saahdiq Charles, it's going to be whoever. They've been rotating offensive linemen, and the vibe I get is that Tennessee is hoping Dillon Radunz, who could also be a right tackle option for you, or Saahdiq Charles steals that right tackle spot. And they pull it away, and they go with the younger player. Charles has some ties to this offensive line staff as well, this offensive staff too. The numbers last year were Brunskill and Radunz pretty close. Charles a bit behind them. The snap counts are very minimal, about 100 more for Dillon Radunz than Charles, and about 20 more for Brunskill than Radunz is. I think that right side of the line, overall, totally up for grabs. And again, I kind of tend to trust some Titans reporters who know more than me when they say, hey, maybe it's not going to be Brunskill. See what happens there. So pick a right guard. B for Brunskill, R for Radunz, C for Charles. Who do you think ends up earning that starting job? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Finally, maybe OTAs themselves end up as losers. Look, OTAs might not be here anymore. Tom Pelissero kind of breaking it down of how the NFLPA might be looking to get rid of them, which, by the way, I don't think the veteran players are going to like because they want to have that time off to spend with their families and kids when school is out. That's not going to be as easy if they bump training camp up to June, July. So we'll see if that actually ends up happening, but at least a possibility. Wanted to make note of it.